is a video on how anybody can create music using Suno.ai and other AI tools. I'm showing it here on this channel as no one really subscribed to my other, which is Relatable Rhythms. But if you'd like, you could go there and check it out on that channel, or just stay tuned and I will show the entirety of the video here on this one. Anyway, I'd appreciate your support. If you enjoy this video, consider going over to my other channel at Relatable Rhythms and subscribing. It would really help me out a lot and help me grow my channel. Appreciate it and hope you get a lot of value out of this video. Hey everybody, welcome to Relatable Rhythms. Today we're going to be talking about some of the barriers to making music going away basically with AI. And, we've seen a lot of gatekeepers fall in different areas of media, like with YouTube. That was really innovative. Everybody could go online and create their own content and get around a lot of the people who did mass media. Well, today we're seeing the same sort of thing in music, where people who really don't know anything about music can now go in and create songs with the help of AI. And it's a really neat tool, and I think we're going to see a lot of innovation in this space. I'm here today with my brother, Alan, and we were going to talk a little bit about that and some of our experiences, and to show you a little bit of how easy it is now to actually create music using AI. You know, if you're someone like me, growing up, I didn't really have a musical background. It wasn't something that we focused on heavily. I did have a dad who played the trombone, but it wasn't something that I had, picked up. But I always loved music. I listened to it a lot. I would think of, lyrics in my head, and I always thought it'd be really cool to get into a band. And I dabbled around with, band stuff in my 20s and stuff like that. But it never really went anywhere, like one performance or something like that, but nothing too serious. So when this tool came out, it's really interesting to see, how easy it was to create something neat. If you just had an idea, even if it was just a couple of lines of a song, you could have AI come in and kind of help you create something that turns into a final product. So kind of taking things that are just ideas and putting them out to the world. So that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking today. So the program specifically is called Suno. And you can find it now on the web, whereas before it was like you had to kind of know a little bit more and use Discord or something to get in on it. But they've made it really easy now, where if you have a Google account, which most people do, you can go find Suno at Suno.ai, and they give you several credits. When you first start out, I think they're a little more generous. They give you like 10 credits, right? And then as you use it every day, you get 5 credits, and you can sign up for more. So if you're interested in supporting them, I would encourage it, as I think it's a really neat resource for people. So anyway, Alan is, pretty educated on AI as well. And I would say even more so than myself. I kind of consider myself more of a hobbyist when it comes to AI. But we both kind of found this and thought it was really interesting. I think Alan knew about it before I did, but I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube that was about AI. And somebody was doing this, and I just thought it was really neat. And I tried it out, and I kind of got hooked, So if you love music, I think this could be something that is kind of hooking for you. What's been your experience with this platform, Alan? Like, what was your take, and have you been enjoying using it?
Yeah. So I've always, had music in my head. Music really speaks to me, and I've always wanted to create it. But like you read, I never had the education in music. I don't know how to put notes down on a page or read music, or, I can hum along or I can whistle or sing, but the ability to actually create the music that would turn it into a full song, I never got that. And so I've played around with apps in the past where, maybe you can turn a whistle into an instrument using like a MIDI adapter. But it's all technical, it takes a lot of time to learn how to use this stuff and use it effectively. And then you got to tie it all together with all the instruments and everything. So it's just, it was complicated, and I never made much progress on it.
Yeah,
Um,
same sort of thing. I feel like one of the major strengths of this platform is it takes away a lot of the time sink that it would have taken before in the writing and the having other people come together and everybody's in the same headspace about what they want to create, and you have to get the band to practice and all this kind of stuff. That all kind of goes by the wayside when it's just you and the AI as kind of a partnership. it's not going to give you too much pushback. It will just give you some ideas. And, so it just makes the process so much quicker. So if you're someone who doesn't have a musical background, but you love music and you'd like to create it, this is a great way to be able to put some things out into the world now that might have just been ideas before. So you'll log in. So after you log in on Suno through your Google account, and I think there's several different options as well as far as how you could sign in, you'll come to this screen, and this is the community screen where you can explore what other people have created. Actually, here it is, and this shows upvotes and all that kind of stuff. So if you just wanted to get some ideas of what other people are doing, this is a neat way. But the main purpose people come is they want to create a song. So there's two different modes here. You could go into a simple mode where you're just typing in a couple of sentences to the AI about what you'd like to create. And I found that the AI is fairly intuitive about if you're speaking to it or if you're giving it a command on something to put into the song. So that made it really easy, for me at least. Now, if you hit custom mode, then you can get a little bit more in depth and create your lyrics before it actually creates the song. With simple mode, if you put in some lines of direction and hit create, it just creates the song automatically.
Yeah, I think they're using something like ChatGPT as the back end to create the song lyrics. They probably created a custom GPT that knows about the formatting tags for
Mhm.
Suno, like verses and choruses and things like that.
Yeah. So just for the demonstration here, I was thinking of an idea we could work on together here to create a song on the fly.
Cool, let's
And,
do it.
so for coming to a Zoom meeting, a lot of times you're up in the morning and maybe you have to get on a Zoom call in the next 10 minutes and you're not ready yet, right? You're getting out of bed or something and you're not quite dressed. So I was thinking it would be kind of funny to make a song about like zooming to Zoom or, rushing to get onto the video chat conference. So
Yeah, could we have it be in the style of like uh like a 20s like jazz style?
Okay, like swing
Like
jazz or what are we
maybe we
talking?
maybe we mix like 20s jazz with something upbeat and um like a nice
Upbeat could
drum
be its
track.
command. Yeah, so one of the neat things about the style prompts that you see me typing in right now, you can put in things that are not necessarily musical references. You can even put in commands as far as having the AI select what it thinks would sound the best. You could even put something in like that. The one thing you're not able to put into the style prompts is a specific name of a band. So there's some things that are limitations, but it does know styles. It just doesn't let you copy per se like ZZ Top or Led Zeppelin or something like that if those are a sound that you like and you wanted to put that into the style. So I put in 1920s jazz. We got it upbeat. We'll just start with that and see how it goes. So then the next step would be come up here and let's put in, an idea and kind of give it to the AI. So why don't we say it's a funny song about rushing to an online meeting.
Oh, and I think you're in the lyrics mode. What if you copied the 1920 jazz upbeat into the box above? I think you need to switch back to the simple view.
Okay. I mean, we could start with simple view. I was actually meaning to be in custom to kind of show that this is an option, so you can separate it out. But you could do it
Oh,
either way.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there's a new button on there, isn't there, called Generate Lyrics.
Yep, generate lyrics. So that's what
I
I'm
see.
showing right now is what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the AI only generate the lyrics, and then we'll see if we're happy with the lyrics, and then we go into create so we don't accidentally waste credits, if that makes sense. Because when you start, you'll be given 100, I believe it is, but every generation usually takes 10 for people who don't know. So when you're generating a song, it's going to give you two different variants of what you requested, and that uses 10 credits. So we have five chances on the free mode here without going into something paid. But just if you're trying to save credits and you want to play around with this, I would suggest using the custom mode so you can get an idea of what the song's going to be lyrically before it actually creates it and does the music part for you. So that's why I'm doing this. All right, so we got a funny song about rushing to an online meeting. I'm going to put zooming to Zoom is an idea I like to use in the lyrics. And do you have any suggestions, Alan, of things we could add?
I think that's great. I mean, this is essentially what you would hand to a music producer, and then they would figure out, what should that sound like and what should the lyrics be.
Yeah. So let's
It's
just
thinking
keep
about
it.
it in a different way rather than
Yeah.
like you're typing in a command, a strict command to a program. It's more like handing off
Right.
an idea, and it takes the whole context of this idea into account.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I think is so neat about it is, you can be more technical if you want to. If you want to use beats per minute, maybe you have a musical background and you want to F minor or something, you could type those things into the style of music too. But for people like myself who really are not as well versed in that, and I'm learning more as I do this, of course, but this is a great way to get something. So I'm going to keep it simple. Let's just keep these two lines and see what it comes up with. We'll do generate lyrics. And we can actually expand this down so we can see what it comes up with for us. And actually, well, a little late there. I was going to say we could just copy and paste the prompt if we don't like the first one and then put it back in. So here's a song it's coming up with. This is Woke Up Late, Alarm Clock, Betrayed, Got a rush, No time for shave, grab coffee, throw on a shirt, got a laptop. Okay. So I kind of like it. Let's see what the chorus looks like.
Yeah,
Zooming to Zoom, got to join a call. Okay. So it's kind of fun. So let's use this idea. It came up with a title for us automatically. So if you don't prompt a title, which you can do, uh, it will create one for you. Now you can put in here a general description of use whatever you think would fit the song best. And I've done that a couple times, and the results have actually been really good when I just hand it over to the AI because it actually, will probably do a better job than I will as far as discerning. But if you have an idea of something in your head and you want 1920s jazz and upbeat, this is the way to do it. So after you're happy with what you see, you're just going to hit the create button, and that's going to take a couple of seconds here. We'll come down here, and these are some other songs that I've created already. The Squeaky Wheels Roulette. I have some demos of that too, so we'll probably get into that in a second. And then, Alan, I think you've created some music as well, haven't you, recently?
yeah, I have. I've actually have four full songs now, and I have some really fun ideas about sharing this. I feel like, as a non-musician, I feel like I have radio ready music, and it's
Yeah,
really incredible.
and
Um,
that's so cool.
yeah, and then later I'll show some tools I have to make the songs that it produces even better.
Hey, Alan, do you want to talk a little bit about the stitching that this can do for you too as a feature?
Yeah,
And I could
so
jump out
right
and
now it's creating two versions of this song,
mhm.
and you can pick one that you like best and continue from that. And so, let's say you like the style of instrumentation better, or the person's voice better. You can continue from um, that section of the song, and you can add on to it. So if we wanted to have a longer song that's more than just one verse and one chorus, you can add further sections to it, bridges, outros, things like that, guitar solos,
Yeah.
um, and then it will stitch it all together. I've used up to five kind of back-to-back clips to create a full song.
hmm Yeah, so if you're a long form factor fan of music, or you want to create something that sounds more like a radio song, that's a great tool to use. Sometimes I've just enjoyed having the shorter form factor because one of the things I like to do for some of my friends and people I know is I'll put together a minute song and be able to text it to them, because it's a couple of megabyte size file. So that's kind of fun if you're just trying to create something funny, something to make someone laugh or make someone's day. I've used that quite a few times. So let's go ahead and check out what the results sound like. So we have our two rendered files here. We got zooming to zoom 1 and 2, and you see it kind of creates a little graphic for you and everything too.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
One other neat thing on this too is you can download a video over here underneath these three little dots. Isn't there a word for that? What is that called, Alan? The little dots.
That's just the
Radio.
menu. Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
there's someone had a clever word for it the other day, and I was like, okay, that does sort of look like. Anyway, oh, I didn't mean to start it. Okay. Let's see what it sounds like.
Sometimes there's longer intros. Sometimes there's no intro.
Sometimes there's only music and no lyrics. So So this actually might be one of the times where it hasn't created lyrics.
Yeah, and that'll be influenced by the style of music too. Maybe the 1920s style just doesn't have as many lyrics. Maybe we want more of like a 1940s where they'd have like a Frank Sinatra influence.
Yeah, and I find it's hit and miss. But I'm going to pause this for a second because I think it is obvious that there's no lyrics in this. So you'll get this sometimes, but I've actually find this as kind of a useful byproduct. So if you're someone who's a content creator or you're thinking about putting music out there, these little accidents like this actually can be kind of neat because you can take this and it's basically royalty-free background music for whatever you want to use. So even though this wasn't a song with lyrics, I might keep it anyway, right? Because if I want something for 1920s jazz, I'll just have it as an audio-only download. And I'm sure this will get better over time, or it won't do renders that are, a mistake. In fact, sometimes I've had it where it doesn't render and it realizes that it can't render and it won't actually take my credits. So it's not perfect, but I think we're going to get there. Let's try the second one.
This reminds me a lot of the early days of AI image generation, where
Yeah.
your only input to the system was text. You could describe an image and then it would make an image. And then over the weeks and months, they created additional tools where you could give it another image as also part of the input. And it could copy the style or it could copy the composition of the image you give to it. So I imagine something similar is going to happen in this audio space, where maybe you'll be able to give it one of your previous songs because you like the structure of it or you like the timing of it, and actually have that be an input. So I wouldn't be surprised that this gets really intuitive to use, and even more specific from a creator perspective.
Yeah. Okay. So let's try the second song here real quick. And you see over here, as far as the interface goes, you have your songs here. And then over on the right-hand side, we have our lyric layout. The more specific you are about the style of music, the more close to probably what you're looking for the results will be.
Want to play a long hot train? Gotta rush, no time for a shave. Grab my coffee, throw on a shirt. Got my laptop, gotta make it work. Zoom to zoom, gotta join the call. Forgot to comb my hair, I ain't got it all. Video off, hope no one knows. Zoom to zoom, play again, I suppose.
So yeah, that's just an example of, what can be created with very little input. We put in 2 lines of just kind of the general idea, but it understood the idea enough to understand, all right, the guy doesn't have his hair combed. It came up with that on its own. Mute on, video off. So it understands a lot of things, that you would have really had to explain before in detail without having to do all this extra work. So that's one of the things I think is really neat if you're just in a rush or you're using the basic mode and you don't want to, go into all the extra detail. You can just put those couple of lines of text and maybe in brackets the style of music and get a similar result. And if you're not happy with this, you just hit create again, or maybe you want to change the style up. So why don't we try a different style and just see what comes with the same exact lyrics, but all we're going to do is just say, let's do it a little different musically. So we'll put in, like indie rock, and we'll do groovy. And do we want, why don't we choose male singer? So these are just some, different style choices. Do you have any other suggestions, Alan, of maybe something we could add to this?
Let's just give that a go. See what happens.
All right, let's go ahead and we'll do same exact title. Well, actually, let's do zooming to zoom 1, just to differentiate. And I'll give it a couple of minutes here. So some of the things I was working on as we were talking about doing this video is this last week I did some on, and as you can see, squeaky wheel roulette, which is what I was thinking about when you go shopping and you're looking for a grocery cart. A lot of times you get stuck with one of those squeaky wheel shopping carts, or like the ones that kind of finickily like rattle around as you're pushing it down the aisle. So I thought I'd make a funny song about that. And, you can just do it in so many different styles. So let me pull this down here real quick. Here's some that I created this last week, all in different styles. So let's see. I think this was one of the ones I liked the best.
Strolling through the grocery store with the list in my hand. I'm on a mission. mission, gotta get all I can. But there's one thing that fills me with dread. Grabbing the card that makes my ears dead. Oh no, wheel shopping, here we go.
So this is, an option. Looks like our examples are done here. But if you wanted to change it to a different music style, I mean, you can get something drastically different. Let me see. I think this is another one that's totally different.
Strolling through the grocery store with a lace in my hand. I'm on a mission, gotta get all I can. But there's one thing that fills me with dread. Grabbing the card that makes my ears dead. Oh no. Squeaky wheel shopping, here we go. Will it be inspired by the squeaky show? Take a chance, select a card, you never know. Squeaky wheel roulette, let's roll.
So anyway, that's just an idea of like using the same lyrics, same concept, but getting completely different results, and not even have to know anything about music. You basically just give it a couple of words, and it's off to the races for you. All right, so here's our second version of the Zoom to Zoom song, now with indie, and let's just check that out, and then we'll kind of move on to the next topic.
Woke up late, alarm clocks betray. Gotta rush, no time for a shave. Grab my coffee, throw on a shirt. Got my laptop, gotta make it work. Zoom, gotta join a call. Forgot to comb my hair, ain't got it all.
All right, I'm not going to play the second one, but you get the idea, right? We have two different music styles. We came up with some lyrics. One of the neat things about this, though, is if you're someone who's creative or you're good at creating lyrics, like sometimes I have songs for an entire song in my head, or lyrics for an entire song in my head, and I just want to write them out. So you can do that, or you can just write that little prompt and have the AI help you a lot. Or, for example, if you saw something here you didn't like, you could go back in and edit. So anyway, that's the basics of this. I figure we'll talk a little bit about different ways this can be used too. I'm going to turn this off here, stop share.
Yeah, that last song too was a good example of sometimes it'll put in some kind of gibberish words to fill in spaces. It doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes it won't follow the lyrics at all. Being generative AI, it'll just kind of sing these random phrases.
Yeah, and so I'm also a video editor and stuff too, and so Alan and I both use different tools. I saw Alan was using Adobe to kind of, he might go in and cut out the first part of the track, right? And I could do the same with Sony Vegas Pro, or if you use maybe one of the online media editors too. There's lots of them to choose from now, which is really cool, that are even free. So, a little editing, basic editing. I think even YouTube's got an editor where you can snip clips if you just wanted to make it real simple. But if let's say you're not a video editor, and you could take that prompt and continue the song with the exact same lyrics, and maybe get a second version of the song that doesn't have that gibberish in front of it. So that's one way to kind of take care of that problem if you're not a video editor and maybe you don't have the time to go in and edit. I could show you real quick. Do you want me to just do that as a demo and show, like, let's say we weren't happy. We like that style of music. We like the sound. We didn't like the gibberish, and we're not a video editor, but we want to clean that up and turn it into something that maybe doesn't have that. So I'm going to go back to screen share real quick and I'll show you that.
Yeah.
All right, share. Okay. So what I was saying is we like the style, we like the sound, we like the style of music, but what we don't like is that it had that nonsense at the beginning, or the intro was too long. So what we could do here is we could just go with continue from this clip, which is the second option here. And we're going to see that over here now, underneath the title, it says continue from, and it has the song highlighted with the same graphics, so you know it's the same song. Now, make sure to clear this when you're done. Otherwise, no matter what you put in here, it's going to continue with this sound, this singer, and this style of music, if that makes sense. Now, if you don't change the lyrics, you're not going to get the second part of the song. You'll get the exact same thing, or it'll kind of repeat the lyrics. So now we're going to get two results that will sound exactly the same as this song that we liked, but we didn't like the intro, and get some different results. So let's go ahead and hit continue and see how that works. While this is rendering our new versions, though, there's some other free AI tools out there that you can use to enhance this. One of the things, if you're a little more advanced user, maybe you want to separate the lyrics from the audio track. You might be interested in doing your own singing on it, right, with the lyrics. Or maybe you just want the background music because you liked it a lot. So, Alan, I know you had talked a little bit about, I think it was called UAV5 or something.
It's called Ultimate Vocal Remover, UVR. And it
UVR5.
was
Yeah.
originally designed for creating karaoke tracks.
hmm Yeah, talk to us a little bit about that. We're waiting here, like how you could use that with this. And do you want me to? I could jump out here real quick if you
Yeah,
have.
UVR is one of those freeware tools. It's open source that you can download and install on any platform, and then it can download a number of different audio separation libraries. Um, yeah, would you mind if I share my screen?
No, go for it. We're waiting for it to render, so let's do that.
Okay. So UVR is a really simple interface. You put your song up in the top, and then you can choose a number of different kind of engines. Um, Demux is created by Facebook. It's one of their audio AIs that separates tracks. So this one here, V4, it's going to create, this one is fine-tuned, that's the FT. So it's a really high quality version of this library, this model, and it's going to separate it into 4 different instrument tracks. I'm not going to hit the process button right now, but what I can show you is the output. Bring this down here. So I put in one song. It gave me, it actually gave me 5 different tracks here. Vocals,
cool.
instrumental, both of those can be combined to give you your original song, but also drums, bass, and other. If there were guitars in this track too, it would also show that. But so for instance,
And now, is this audio track that you put in something that you created with Suno, or was this created with a
yeah,
different thing? Yes.
yeah. So here's my song as it was originally produced. And this is a song that really speaks to me about this creation process. So it has a bit of an intro. If I skip ahead.
Look at me, look at me. I created a masterpiece. In half an hour, latent thoughts born digitally.
So that's all of these separated tracks recombined. But if I wanted to just solo the vocals.
Look at me, look at me. I created a masterpiece.
Or if I wanted to do my own singing on top of this, I could just remove those vocals.
See, isn't that cool? And
Yeah.
you're using this in Adobe Premiere, but for people who don't have it, you'll just get these different music tracks from UAV that you can put into whatever editor you want to.
Yeah, really whatever editor. The only reason why I'm using this version of Premiere is because there's also a new AI tool inside of Premiere that's meant for enhancing speech for things like podcasts if you don't have a high quality microphone. And so there's just under the Essential Sound tab, Enhance Speech. I've already processed it here. Listen what happens when I move this slider from low to high. Oh.
I created a masterpiece. Half an hour, latent thoughts born digitally.
Wow.
So this is really
speeds it
meant
up.
for speech. So it's not enhancing more of the musical like vocals, but I think it's gonna go in that direction too, where you can always, there's always a little bit of like a low quality vibe to these songs, but it's also part of the charm of it.
Yeah.
But there's ways then to clean it up and to kind of enhance the quality of it.
Yeah, it definitely does sound like a 128-bit, real basic rip of a song for sure. But, I'm sure that will be enhanced. And I'll talk a little bit more about some of the things I speculate that might happen in the future here in a second.
One other thing that I've done is I had
Sure.
this song that I really liked,
Uh-huh.
but it was I wanted to take elements from one of the clips and move it to other clips. And so I've actually separated the sounds using UVR,
Mm-hmm.
and then this is in Audition. So there wasn't an intro, so I created an intro. So I just separated out the drums and then I added in the bass. So now I have an intro. So yeah, it's really powerful to have the AI create the entire song, but then also be able to bring it back to these kind of component parts that you can remix as you want.
Yeah, that is really neat. You can, enhance it depending on your level of experience. You can get a lot more in depth with it. There's other music software out there I've noticed too that has some of the same sort of features. I don't think it's quite as neat as Suno right now because it doesn't really have a lyrical component. But one of them I tried was called CoProducer. It's at coproducer.output.com. But that will give you, without paying for it, like 18-second stems of just different music tracks. So maybe if you wanted to create your own intro, and you don't have the same resources, that's a free resource you can use because it will do that for free for the first 18 seconds, so as long as you're not looking for like a minute song. Something else maybe to look at. All right, let's go over and see what happened with our new render of the song here. I'm going to go back into share. So we have Zoom into Zoom part 2. So you can see this is a continuation of this song. I'm going to go ahead and clear this out right now too, because before I've forgotten. And then what happens is you end up with, instead of a brand new version of the song, just a continuation again. So let's see if this cleaned up our problem with that kind of garbled, nonsensical stuff that AI put in.
Woke up late, alarm clocks betrayed.
Okay, so that's pretty much a clone of the last one. I've noticed that with different variations, though, sometimes you get different results. So let's try the second one. Okay, so that one didn't work out either, but it was a different kind of error, right?
That's not super surprising because the AI is contextually aware. And so when you're doing a continuation of the first song, and there was this kind of that kind of signature sound to that track, it's trying to use that again in subsequent tracks.
Yeah. Well, I've had it before where I've tried the continuation and it's worked out a little bit better, or like the lyrics will come in sooner or something. But yeah, I mean, it is trying to continue the song that was there prior. That's why it says part 2. But sometimes if you keep the same lyrics in, you can get a clean version of it that in the same style. Hey, this is Editor Reed from the future. On the very next version, I got it to work out. So sometimes it's just a matter of taking a couple different rolls of credits.
Alarm clocks betrayed. Gotta rush. No time for a shade.
Conversely, if you have a chorus that you repeat multiple times in your song, sometimes it has trouble doing more like an exact repeat of that same chorus. It'll give it a little bit different style or a little bit different intonation, which actually I think works really well. But on the longer songs that I've created, sometimes I do just go into an editor and I, cut out that first chorus and I move it and I duplicate it.
Yeah. So pretty cool. But so that's just a little bit about Suno, how you can use it. This particular account, I have a couple different Google accounts, so I just kind of switch between them when I've used my credits up. I will probably go ahead and up for a subscription here soon because I tend to use it quite often. But it's a lot of fun. Any kind of idea you have, you can put out into the world, and that's kind of the appeal, I think, of this, depending. You don't really even need to be that technically savvy. And as long as you can use a website and you have a Google account, you can pretty much use this in some fashion, which I think is really kind of the cool appeal of this. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen here. So, there's a lot of AI tools you can use too. So if you wanted to get more serious and produce your own music, things like what Alan has are really neat. And, my editor too, But there's also stuff out there you can get for free. So there's video editors online, like I mentioned, YouTube. But things maybe for enhancing, like you maybe want to make a music video. There's some AI stuff out there like Pika.art, which is real interesting. They can make video clips from still images. You could use Dolly 3 or Midjourney maybe for a different graphic you want to put if you're going to put this in somewhere like social media. But I found that this is pretty intuitive. So actually, let me go back and just show real quick what happens when you download a video track. So I'm going to go back here to share. So let's just say, for instance, that we liked the original zooming to zoom, or we're just going to cut the beginning off. So what we could do is go in here, download the video, and then the final result that we get actually has the graphic and the lyrics right on it. So that's kind of a little added bonus. I'm going to go ahead and blow this up so we can look at it. So you get the style of music. So if you want to remember what you did, you got indie, groovy. We did male singer on this one, and then the lyrics. So you could turn this right into something that could go on TikTok. If you wanted to edit it, or maybe add in a couple of lines of text for your YouTube channel, or a personal message to somebody. You could do that pretty easily. And one of the things I was thinking is, this is kind of a competition with like the gift card industry. You could make something specifically for someone's birthday or a special event, maybe a graduation, and just send this to them instead of going out and buying a $5 gift card, where you can do it for free. So,
Yeah,
I mean, I think
I had a birthday party celebrating a big year, and so I had a bunch of friends over, and as things were happening throughout the evening, I was using Suno to create little songs about these funny things, and it was a big hit. I mean, I would just throw them onto the Bluetooth speakers, and like people wouldn't even realize that it was an AI generated song. They'd just be listening to it and like, wait a second, that just happened. So it's
yeah.
a really fun thing to do live. I mean, it doesn't take any time to make something that's really about the situation.
Yeah, I had sort of a similar experience, but what I did is we have a group chat at a place I used to work at called the Houston Camera Exchange, and a lot of us had our old inside jokes or things that we all kind of knew about other people. So I created for our group chat, or a Facebook, tryout, a bunch of songs that just related to the store, and everybody really got a kick out of that. So those are just a couple ways you could use this. But yeah, I could definitely see it being a disruption in the marketplace for like gift cards or for personalized little gifts and stuff like that. And eventually, I mean, this already does have a paid version. But as more of them come out and stuff like that, I could see this being more monetized to, offer products in that area. But yeah, I've just been having a blast with it. I think people who watch this will probably have their own ideas, or maybe a funny song or something about somebody that you'd love to make a quick minute song on. You can do it now in 15 to maybe 30 minutes if you're really working on the lyrics, So
Yeah.
it's quick.
And I gotta say, I did sign up for the paid version. It's the same. It's a little bit less actually than like a Spotify subscription. And what it lets you do is you can do unlimited, I think you can do like 10 concurrent generations. So you can just like hit the button a bunch of times. And so then instead of being presented 2 versions of your song, you can have 10 versions of your song if you really want to iterate through it fast. I do that quite a bit.
One of the interesting things that happened this week is, and I'm part of some gig economy things. One of them is called Respondent, where I go in and I talk to different companies about something they want a survey, on. So the one that I answered this week was actually for Suno.ai. And I can't get too specific about who I talked to or the company name, but I can tell you it was a venture capitalist. I did a little research after the fact with his name and found out who it was. But what we talked about was just, he asked me questions like, from 0 to 10, what would you rate this? Are you really happy with it? If we were to take it away, would you be sad? Would you have any other outlets? And so I kind of explained to this guy that, I don't have a musical background. This was really innovative for me, and it let me take a lot of creative ideas and put it out into the world. And, he was asking, well, if we were to take it away, what you think would happen? My response was, I kind of feel like Pandora's box has been opened a little bit here, and that someone else is going to come along and offer the same thing. So taking it away, I don't think would necessarily, put me into some kind of depression because I feel like in a couple of months we'll probably have more. And seeing as the person who was asking me this or this whole interview was a venture capitalist, I feel like they're looking at maybe raising money for other companies that are doing things in the marketplace like that output, or what was it called here? Like coproducer.output or another sooner competitor, or maybe just expanding the feature set. And that was another question that came up in our interview was, what kind of things would you like to see added to Suno? And one of the things Alan and I have both discovered is like maybe you get a song that's almost perfect, but then you'll have like one word or one little part of the song that wasn't right. Like in one of my songs, I had, the word Mikey, and it was pronounced by the AI one time as Mickey. And everything else about the song I really liked, but I wanted to change that one word. So I was saying, if you could like add a highlight feature or something to just that and changing that one little area instead of re-rendering the whole song, I'd love to see that. I also told the guy if we could get an actual like a metadata of the song to show what the different components were so we could learn a little bit more if we don't have a technical knowledge of music, F minor, and this was at so many beats per minute or something like that, so we can learn a little bit more about what the AI is doing. But he was just kind of picking my brain for ideas. So I thought that was really interesting. Alan, what do you think about where, things might be going with AI? I feel like you're actually more knowledgeable in AI in this area probably than I am.
Well, that's
So,
a big question. I mean, what time frame do you want to talk about here?
well, let's talk in the next year. Like, do you think we're going to see some more AI music programs hitting the marketplace? Or
The next thing I see happening in AI is all of these task-specific AIs will be unified by another AI that knows how to operate them. Actually, coming out of the Consumer Electronics Show just last week, there's a little device from Rabbit called the R1, and that's what it's designed to do is you can train it, you can show it how to do something. Like you could go to Suno and show it how to create a song, and then you could go over to like Runway ML and have it create some AI generated video clips and then put those together. And this other AI will now know how to operate those and combine them.
so for people who don't know what Runway ML, including myself, tell me a little bit about what that is, Runway ML.
Runway ML is if you've ever heard of Stable Diffusion,
Hmm.
they were kind of the technical side of the house for creating this image generator,
Okay.
while Stability AI was the funders. So Stable Diffusion, the image generating AI, was a collaboration between those two mainly.
Hmm.
But they also have an online video editing platform that uses AI enhanced features like yeah, turning still images into video clips. Having the contextual awareness where if you give it a picture of a car on a street, it knows, oh, it's likely traveling down the street, and it will give you a video of this car traveling down the street. And then as the car moves, you'll be able to see more of the background behind that was being occluded by the car. And it just knows
Hmm.
because these AIs just have like a holistic view of what should be there.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I had been playing around with a different AI program that's for generating video from still images. That one you have to sign up for right now, but it's called Pika, and I think it's
Yeah.
Pika.art. But when
Yeah,
you're
Pika I think
panning,
is a little bit better than what Runway has. They're always kind of leapfrogging each other.
oh, okay. So it's similar, but I noticed just that when I'm panning an image right or left from a still image, sometimes it will create things that are unexpected. Sometimes it's great, but it's really interesting that it can do that. It can kind of create its own ideas of what's off camera or off the side of the picture. And sometimes it works out really, really well, but I found that fascinating. So that's a little bit to do with that sort of AI, Alan.
Yeah.
With okay, really
So
interesting.
I mean, it's some possibilities right now if you know how to use these different AIs in conjunction with each other and have, video editing skills. You can train an AI to use your own likeness
Mhm.
to put you in like a music video scene and
Mhm.
then animate that and then you can create an entire music video using AI. And so I
Yeah.
think things like that, where you're having to go to these different places to kind of combine elements into a finished project. I think that we're gonna see a lot of progress on that in 2024
Right.
of these different AIs being like learning how to work together.
Yeah. And I feel like this is such a big opportunity for people who are content creators already to up their game at their production value of maybe adding a musical background or adding a musical interlude to a video they're doing. Maybe there's a concept that they want to express in music and they're getting up to take their Twitch bathroom break, right? And they put on their little song and it gives them a minute, where they can be away from the camera. But it ups the production value. And I feel like a lot of AI tools right now are really going to do the same sort of thing. So I feel like this is going to change, the world, but also just what people are able to put out there in a business sense or in an entertainment sense. Just kind of raising standards of what's available and also getting rid of a lot of the problems that people have had with copyright music. If they don't have the YouTube library or maybe they don't like the songs on there, and they're doing the Suno thing, you can create some of your own music now instead of going through maybe a music catalog service like Epidemic Sound or something. So really, really interesting. Really, it's really going to broaden what people are able to do, and in a great way. So if you're a creator, this is a really exciting time. I think, as person who are creative, maybe they don't have a lot of extra time because they got a full-time job or they're preoccupied with taking care of family, but you have 30 minutes in the day or 15 minutes in the day. You can go and create a song now through Suno AI or you create a picture through Midjourney or whatever it is, without having to know too much technically, where that really wasn't a thing before. So we're getting rid of the gatekeepers, basically, or we're getting rid of the barriers to being able to do things that you needed technical knowledge before to do. So anyway, if you guys like this, if this has been a valuable video for you, I'd appreciate it if you would thumbs up the video and subscribe here too. Do you have any plugs you want to put in?
No, no plugs. Just want to reiterate how much fun this is and how approachable it is, and how things are just getting so much simpler. And I think the possibilities are going to be endless.
Yeah. So, and I feel like you really um, are on the ball, or you really have your finger on the pulse when it comes to like how AI is changing and innovating in the space. So it's really interesting to hear your perspective on like some of the things you saw at CES and stuff, which is super cool. But yeah, and I think this is going to be a great year. We have a lot of bad news out in the world, but I think this is going to be a great year for AI innovation and for tools people can use to kind of get rid of some of those barriers. So, sort of a little ray of light in times that otherwise can be a little darker, you know. So, but thank you so much for joining me here today at Relatable Rhythms. Please subscribe. I'm going to put some music out on the channel. But, if you would like, you could also email me at relatablerhythms@gmail.com. And if you want to send a link or something with a song you've created, I'd love to see what the community comes up with too, with AI music creation specifically. But I think that's going to pretty much do it. Alan, did you have anything else we should talk about, you think, before we wrap it up? Or
We'll have to do this again.
yeah, for
There's
sure.
always so much more to say on this topic and to show.
Yeah, definitely. I think this would be great to revisit and just come back. Maybe we could show some of the new tools. Because one of the things I did notice with Suno.ai is just over the last couple of weeks, they've added more and more tools. When I talked to Alan about this initially, he knew Suno a while back. He'd probably checked it out before I through Discord. It was a different, platform, and even knew about a different tool called Suno Bark, which we didn't really didn't talk about too much today. But there's some other tools out there that are kind of similar. But when I discovered it, they'd put out a website, right? And they had creative mode, the basic mode, and then they had the advanced mode. But then they added the lyric button, and then they added the auto stitching song completion. So I didn't really show this off, but if you have two different versions, like the part two and the part one of the song that we liked, you could actually have this combined together and create an entire song now instead of having to do it yourself in a media generator. And that's something they just added, I think, last week. So I really haven't even had the chance to use it too much. But it's just like the progress is really quick in this space. So, in 2-3 weeks time, there might be some brand new things that are really neat. And so definitely keep your eyes peeled here for more videos, because I'll be trying to update new things in that space, But I think that's going to do it for this one. I really appreciate you guys taking your time to be here and watch this video with us. And all right, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.